Welcome back to Fueled by Coffee Podcast. This is Matt, your host, and I welcome you all to today's first episode of December. We are here today once again at the truck stop. I'm making my second visit in the last month, so we got a nice episode on deck right now. It's actually, if you ever heard of, Matt and Shane's secret podcast? This is Matt and Jack's secret podcast. This is the first time Jack has been back on the podcast since the first season in 2019, so it's been quite a long time.
Hell yeah.
So this should be fun. But as always, you can check us out on Spotify and YouTube. Follow and subscribe for new episodes. You can also keep up with all of our antics and our clips and everything on Instagram. I'm not really on Facebook anymore. Instagram's the way to go. So go follow us on there. We also have merch. You can find all that stuff through social media in our link tree. As always, this is a podcast centered around coffee and conversation. So today, I actually brewed myself a new coffee, brand new coffee. We have two new coffees this month. Today I'm drinking the Bones Coffee Company Fuuuudge. It's their
fudge.
Yeah, it's their like Christmas Story crossover. It's got like the pink bunny suit, like Ralphie in the pink bunny suit on the.
Nice.
It's like a hazelnut fudge coffee.
How is it?
Dude, it's really good. I've had a couple cups already. I usually just put a little hazelnut creamer in it, and like I was kind of like unsure about this because I thought it would be overly sweet and like, but it's actually like a nice. It's more hazelnut than anything, and there's like a little bit of fudge on the like that chocolate taste on the back end. So. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good, man. I'm digging it. It's a medium roast, so it's not too crazy, but yeah. And Jack is having a nice little...
Yeah, I'm having a Miller Lite.
Is that your beer of choice?
Tonight it is. I'm not really a big beer guy, honestly. So
yeah.
Whatever's in the fridge.
Is gin and tonic still your thing?
Hell yeah. Every time.
Very nice.
You can't mess up drinks with the ingredients in the name.
Well, yeah, two ingredients.
It is the name of the drink. Can't go
Do you okay, so I've heard frequently, I'm not a drinker. Does gin taste like pine needles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah. I
said something about you liking gin and tonic, and I forget who it was. They were like, oh god, they're like fucking gin, ew.
Yeah, they're not the most well regarded, but they're my favorite.
Yeah, nice, man.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, just here for a nice little super laid back episode. I didn't even write anything in my notebook. This is something that came together pretty quick, like over the course of the last week. So, but for those who don't know, Jack and I have known each other for a very long time. It's almost been 15 years, which is absolutely insane to think about.
That is crazy.
It's crazy. You know, we've gone through the motions and the hills and valleys of life, and school and adulthood. So it's cool. You know, we've known each other for a long time. And today, the one thing that we kind of, we kind of came together we brainstormed the idea to talk about middle school, the goats and the woats, greatest of all time and worst of all time. And this is actually, so the reason why this episode is called Matt and Jack's Secret Podcast is because Jack turned me on to Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. I forget what clip you sent me first. I think it was the one where they were talking about shitting in the Civil War.
Dude, yeah.
And Stonewall Jackson getting shot and stuff. Yeah. That one was so good. And then from there, I mean, I've seen Shane Gillis' stuff on like his latest stand-up.
Incredible.
So good.
He's so funny.
Shout out to Shane. Please sponsor me.
That'd be great.
I've not gotten a sponsorship yet, but we're still trying. But yeah, no, it's really funny. But yeah, I love like the laid back nature of that podcast. Like it's just like guys just hanging out.
They're almost too laid back.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like fully like in the couch.
Yeah,
it is hilarious to see the camera on that because
yeah. I know. I don't really watch the clips. I usually just, like, from what you've sent me, I'll, like, put it on in the background while I'm doing something and, you know, giggle. Or I think the Civil War one, I was like, I think that was when I was still in Colorado and I was, like, cooking breakfast or coming home from work. And I was like,
yeah, they're both very, very funny.
Yeah. But,
good dudes. Yeah, so we're going to delve into the lore.
The lore of Saucon Valley Middle School.
There's a lot
of lore, and it's funny because like I wrote, so I have two separate lists going in my my phone, but there's a lot. Like today at work, Jack was just hammering me with like this, like dude, point after point. I was like, dude,
it's all right there.
It's funny because I used to be the one with the memory, and now I'm like, I feel like I said this on our last podcast. You like brought something up, and I was like, dude, I don't even remember that. And you're like, you're slipping.
You are, dude. Lately, my recall has been untouchable.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But I wanted to. So this is something I guess that could be one of the wotes of middle school. I was thinking about it. Actually, honestly, the last like couple weeks at work. So for those who don't know, I'm a baker at a grocery store, and so public bathrooms. That's a wote.
Of middle school?
I would say it. The bathrooms at school are a wote. Public bathrooms in general are a wote.
There's a lot going on in there.
Because, okay, so like, for example, this store. So have you ever, I've been wanting to ask someone this on the podcast before for like a while, and I just haven't had the right guest. So like, I've had these experiences in the last 2 years, like, where like I usually run in like once or twice throughout the day. I feel like the last couple of weeks, and this isn't the first time this has happened, I go in to just do my thing, and some dude is just in the stall blasting. Like dude. Some guy came in like last Friday in a panic, like shuffling and slams the door, and as soon as he sit down, it was just like fart city, and just like I'm like you could tell he sat down and he just like pushed as hard as he could. Like you could just hear everything, and I'm standing there like looking at myself in the mirror, like what? Like
it is shocking.
Do people actually do this?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, dude. The people at my work are shameless. The dumps in there are like out of control. Like first of all, they're so loud, but then the people are also just like,
yeah. That's
like,
what I'm saying.
Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm saying.
And it's yeah.
Oh my god.
It's a very like high traffic bathroom too. It's not like you're ever.
My store has one bathroom, so it's
And they are in there just carpet bombing, dude. Going crazy.
That's literally all you can compare it to is like a fucking air raid. Like
it's so loud. And this is another one that happened recently. There's a guy in the stall sitting down peeing, which like that's not my point here. Yeah. The real thing was how long he peed for.
Oh my god.
And like steady stream.
Yeah.
I was impressed. The entire time I was in there, like I felt very emasculated. I came in, stream's already on. It's already going.
No.
I take my full piss, wash my hands, dry my hands. This guy is still going strong, dude.
Oh my god.
The public restrooms are the worst.
You know what my favorite was? So actually I'll wrap up on my work bathroom. Yeah, like the last couple of weeks it's just been like I go in and someone just goes in and just blasts, like, and I'm just like you can just hear him full send, and I'm like, do people really like? Do you have hemorrhoids? Like, is there?
I think it's just a hurdle you have to get over. Because I'm pretty poop shy, dude. I don't like pooping.
I don't do public bath, and for me, it's like a sanitary thing. Like they just feel fucking grimy. I've heard so many stories of people getting like crabs, and like just
there is that possibility.
You see the toilet seat, like some of the toilets, and like
some of them are nuts.
But so the other thing too. So this is my second stint with this company because like I was with them, and then I moved, and then I came back. And I remember when I first started working there, it was like beginning of 2021. And like for a straight 2 months, 3 months, someone was leaving like Bible scripture on the urinal.
Nice. Like on the urinal?
Yeah, like on
the top?
Yeah, like on the top, like wedged in between the wall and like the flusher part. And like sometimes it would just be like a short like verse, and then like the one time I think I have a video of it. It was one of those like what the hell is going on? Like I walked into the Twilight Zone because I walk in and there's like someone's in the stall, but it looks like all of their clothes are taken off on the floor. And then I go to step up to piss, and there's this whole like 5-verse like paragraph of Bible stuff. I was like, what is this? Like
the guy in my bathroom would have plenty of time to read it.
Dude, it was insane. Damn. But yeah, no, that was probably the wildest thing.
I mean, I think I do know the craziest thing that happened in the bathroom in middle school. I think I have it.
Okay.
Do you recall the masturbator?
The what?
The masturbator, dude.
No.
You don't remember this?
No, I don't.
This was huge news, dude.
No, I was very out of the loop.
Oh, man. The masturbator was pretty big. They shall remain nameless.
Yeah.
Allegedly. This is probably not true, but the story still holds up either way. Allegedly, someone was busted in the bathroom cranking it with mustard as lube.
Oh my God.
And they became known as the masturbator.
What?
Yeah.
How did I not know about that?
I have no idea, dude.
Are you sure this wasn't LVPA?
Nope. It was Saucon Valley, and it was mind-blowing. Mustard, dude.
Wow.
The mustard packets from the cafeteria.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Oh, that's nasty.
I think that's probably the craziest one for the bathroom.
I remember there were quite a few, maybe not quite middle school, but I remember like the one time in 5th grade. That's like borderline middle school, I guess. The one time in 5th grade, someone left like shitty toilet paper on the floor in the bathroom, and Mr. K, like, and they looked at the bathroom logs because you had to sign in and sign out. Whoever was in the bathroom from like this time to that time, he pulled them all into a room and just like reamed them all out.
It was always Mr. K for some reason.
Yeah, this dude was like just the fucking...
He was the executioner.
Yeah, he was.
He really...
Oh, God.
They always called him in to, like, for some reason.
Ed, we got a problem.
Yeah, we got to call Ed.
And then he came in with his monkey claw.
Dude, yeah, this guy's hand. He had one hand that was... I don't know what was going on with it, but it was always, like, crumpled up into a certain position.
You had me dying when we were watching the Chiefs game. And you were just having a full-on like monologue about Mr. K's monkey claw here in front of everyone, and Kayla was like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" I was like,
"Monkey claw."
I was like,
"It was cursed." He had a screw, I think, in every joint in his body from from running and biking since he was like for like 78 years straight. He was a mess. He was basically a cyborg, but his one hand got completely like. Maybe he broke it or something.
Yeah, probably.
It got stuck in this one position, and when he was teaching, he would always like, he was professing with his hand, but it would be in this nuts position, and I could never focus because I was just looking at his hand the whole time.
That's great.
And that was Mr. K. That was the guy they would send in to crack the whip, dude. Drop the hammer.
I never had a problem with the guy. I know that there was like some allegations kind of floating around, but like I never had an issue with him. He was never creepy with me, and like I never saw him be creepy with anyone else. So that could have just been
I always just heard about it.
Yeah, but like I was always cool with him, and his class was always the best. I had him in 6th grade. It was like social studies and science.
I think I was in that class.
It was so great just because like I think that was a block. So I think that was like an hour and a half. And there, dude, I can count. I can't even count how many times someone would like bring something up, and he would start telling us a story for like an hour.
It was too easy, dude.
Like, I guess we got to get back to work or whatever. And then
I would plant the seeds as soon as I got in there.
Yeah,
just start casually like in the side of the room talking about track and field or something just to get him moving.
I remember the one time he came in and he was talking about this like what he did over the weekend because he had a girlfriend that was like 20 years or 30 years younger than him, like super young. But he was like talking. He'd spent like 45 minutes talking about how they spent like their Sunday afternoon shucking corn. Or not even shucking corn. It was like canning corn. He was like, "Oh, there's this spike. You drive it down on, and all the kernels come off, and then you freeze it." It was like a whole TED talk about corn and like preserving corn.
How long did you go for?
Oh, dude, it was like a good 55 minutes, I think.
Hell yeah. And just the whole corn canning process?
Oh, yeah. But then, he goes off on like 20 other tangents, and by the end of it, he's telling some story. And I remember, I don't think it was the same day, but like by the end of it, he'd be on like talking about some marathon he ran. And like when he got home, he like couldn't even get out of his car. He was like molted into the seat. His parents had to come out. Yeah, like it was this whole...
He was banged up, dude. And he would keep doing it. Yeah. He still does it.
I know.
I still see him on his bike.
I pass him on the trail all the time.
More on Mr. K. Remember Rollerball?
Oh, dude.
This guy.
Fuck. Do you remember we tried to watch that?
Yeah.
I think
that's why it was so funny. Because he told us it was his favorite movie.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Holy shit. And then I remember I think I like begged my mom she like found it at like 48 hours or something. Ripped to a legend there. And we got like 10 minutes in and we were like, what the fuck is this?
It was porn.
Yeah.
It was like, there was just ass and titties everywhere. This guy, again, he loves going on tears during the middle of class. For whatever reason, was just hyping up Rollerball.
He made it sound
telling us, he was like, you guys, you gotta go rent it. You have to see this movie. And we were like, all right, we need to see this. What the hell is this guy's favorite movie all about? It's about a made-up sport
Yeah.
called rollerball.
It's like roller derby, but didn't they have like shot puts that they would like throw at each other or
Dude,
something?
No, you remember those like scoops? You know those things you use on the beach?
Yeah.
With like the wiffle ball?
Oh, yeah.
They had those, and they were on roller skates.
Yeah. Okay.
But they tried to make it like...
extreme.
They tried to make it really, really cool. And it was really just...
Oh, God.
It was just scoops on roller skates. But the game takes place like in a strip club the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
The uniforms... This might be wrong, but in my mind, I remember the uniforms being like... pretty revealing.
No, I remember that too.
And we put it on, we were like, yo. Mr. K was like adamantly telling 6th graders to watch this movie, which was just cracking us up for probably the rest of the year.
I mean, dude, look at this. This is...
It's nuts.
I have the movie poster pulled up right now.
There you go. We have to find the scene where it's just like seriously just girls in thongs everywhere.
I remember. Well, dude, I feel like that was towards the beginning of the movie because I remember like I got really uncomfortable because like you're in middle school and like that's that awkward age where like if your parents walk in and some shit like that's on, you're like you're dead in the water. A little bit. Yeah.
And then we could say, well, Mr. K told us to watch it. Yet another allegation for the books. Another notch on his belt.
But all right, so this will be another great transition. You talking about the scoops?
Yeah.
Let's run over to gym class.
Gym class sucked. Gym class was ass.
There were so many parts. Jeez, is that John?
It's John's chair. He's rolling around in his chair.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So let's talk about gym class because we had to do the scoops as a whole unit. It was like the biggest waste of fun. It was like one of those things where I think I was like, oh, I could see this being fun, like if we actually just played for fun. But like in gym, they have to make it a whole like, okay, today we're gonna spend an hour practicing scooping, and tomorrow we're gonna spend an hour passing, and then like it was the lamest shit. But I think the biggest part of gym class was the teacher that we had.
Eric, dude.
If you were unlucky enough to get this guy, because there were 2 gym teachers, and they would always split it up, I guess, so that they could shove as many kids into class as they could. But like, you know, I feel like it was like so many kids per teacher. That's what my guess is.
I would think.
But yeah, this dude, Mr. Stever. I mean, where do we even begin? Like, I
know where to begin. Below the belt, baby.
His sweatpants, dude. This guy. So, like, picture this for the 3 people that are listening. Some, you know, was he tan or was he like half black? Like, he was like darker skinned. Not like darker skin.
I think he just had a steady tan at all times. Yeah. Somehow
he probably used the tanning booths at like 48 hours or something.
Yeah, it was a very strange looking tan.
But he had you know, like this shitty like white comb over. But it was if a breeze came by,
it's gone.
Yeah,
which happened a lot. Oh, anytime we were outside, his whole hair opened up like a fucking Campbell soup can.
Yeah. Shitty white mustache.
Like, beautiful mustache. Andy Reid level.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
He had the full like quintessential gym teacher look. Tucked into the sweatpants.
Polo.
Hell yeah. Polo.
And the swishy sweatpants.
Very rotund gut.
Yeah, and his nipples were always hard too. I always remember his nipples poking.
High beams always on.
Yeah, but then like the cherry on top of the sundae was the
banana split.
The banana in the middle of the split. Yeah, was he always had like a semi chub going.
Dude was always hard.
Like it was disgusting.
24/7.
And like there were like I don't know how as an adult now, like as a kid you're like oh my god, but as an adult now it's like how much truth could there be to this? But like
no, he was hard.
There were so many there were so many like things going around about him like popping Viagra before gym class or like
he was infinite material.
Or he got caught like going into the girls' locker room like multiple times. And,
is that real?
I'm pretty sure it was. Like I think he did it when my older sister was in high school. Who's 10 years older than me for those listening. And then I feel like it happened like once or twice, like when we were going through middle school and high school or something.
I feel like there was a few times where he like just yelled through the door. Like he opened the door and was like, let's go. Mm-hmm. But I think I never heard of him actually doing.
I could still see his face to this day.
Yeah.
But like, so how about this too? So like, you know, in gym class, you always have to like do a warm up lap around the gym.
You should be jogging.
That
was pretty good.
That was one that at work today. I was like,
you were working on the Stever?
Yeah, well, no, I was like thinking about Stever, and of course, like my mind goes to the boner right away. But then all I could hear in my head was echoing, "You should be jogging," because if you weren't fucking booking it around, if you weren't, I can't use names. If you weren't one of those people that was just like a blowhard, like
we know who they are, the Olympians.
Yeah, the ones that always walked on their tippy toes outside of class.
True.
You remember those? Yeah. You know who I'm talking about.
I know.
God, Stever, he was such a piece of work, honestly. I don't know what he's doing now. There were rumors of him retiring multiple times. I don't know if he ever did, but
he definitely has to be retired now. I don't know how old he was, but he was definitely
I would
retired.
say like mid to late 50s probably.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing with him was the fact that he was like fully torqued at all times. For real.
Dude.
Like all things considered, he was basically the most normal gym teacher of all time. Didn't really give anyone a hard time except for the jogging.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that he was like a diamond during gym class at all times.
Dude, it was also the best. The beginning half of the year was like the fucking mile. There was usually a football unit. There was usually like some lame
flag
shit.
football.
Yeah. And
floor hockey.
Yeah, floor hockey. And then like I remember the second half of the yeyear, you always got swimming and the mile again and scoops.
Swimming, dude.
But swimming is what
Swimming was treacherous.
Because I have a couple stories about that, but the main one I remember is they would every year it was the same shit. You'd have to swim laps across the pool. You would do the normal stroke, then you do the backstroke. But then when they'd get to the side stroke, I vividly remember this man pulling, I don't know, out of his ass or from where, two of like the school desks, just pulling them out in front of us while we're all sitting there on the nasty moldy tile.
Oh, I remember this
on the floor.
This rules.
This dude lays on his side across the desks and starts demonstrating how to do the side stroke. Right?
That was
and he was like,
best.
Pick the apple. Pass it to the other hand and snap
and snap.
And his whole thing was with the snap was you had to do a scissor kick. So like picture this, like you're laying on your fucking side, right? You're laying on your side with your left arm up, and it's like pick the apple with the left hand, pass it to your right arm while you're also simultaneously scissor kicking, and snap. And this dude was up there for like 5 minutes doing this.
He just kept doing it.
We couldn't believe it.
He stayed up there for a long time. And the other gym teacher, Mrs. Wagner, would just do it in the pool.
Yeah.
She was pretty reasonable about it.
She was more of a hard ass, but she wasn't creepy. She was more just like old school gym teacher, I would say.
She was such a hard ass. But she would just be like, I'm going to get in the pool, show you how to do it real quick.
Yeah.
We're good. Mr. Stever made this had this whole diagram set up with himself on the desks. And like for way too long.
Oh yeah,
for far too long.
I know.
He was up there. We were all sitting like shaking because it was freezing. We were already in the pool.
Dude, I always remembered though, like as soon as we walked into because we had to cross over into the high school because the high school had the pool, and I remember every time we go in there, it would go from being like room temperature to like fucking Vietnam jungle, like it was just like a sauna.
Yeah.
But then I guess after you're in the water, yeah. But the water was always fucking pee warm too.
Yeah, it was too warm. Swimming sucked, dude. I always had like those like oil slicks in the parking lot, like the rainbow ones.
Yeah.
I feel like I was covered in that the rest of the day.
Yeah, no, that's totally.
There's like a film of God knows what.
I remember we would always get excited when they would give it, like there'd be days where it was just like swimming laps for like 45 minutes straight, but then there was always like that one point where they'd be like, all right, you get 10 minutes of free swimming, and it was like, yes,
free swim was awesome.
And I went and did
straight to the diving board.
I ripped the biggest cannonball, and like at the time I had these like really cheap swim trunks, and I fucking big ass cannonball and
ballooned up,
and I hit the water and fucking split my swim trunks right in half at the ass.
Oh fuck! How big was the rip?
Oh, dude, we're talking like 8. It was
full rip.
It was one of those like I start feeling like the water moving through, and I'm like, why is the? And then I reach back, I'm like, oh fuck!
Like directly in half.
Yeah, so it was like I had to totally like I was trying to hide it, like getting into the locker room, and I think it might have been like close to the end, but I got home, I was like, Mom, I need new swim trunks like ASAP. Like
tonight, dude.
Like I'm screwed.
Oh my god,
it was so bad. And then, dude, to wrap this all up, do you remember? I don't know if we had swimming together at some point, definitely.
I think so.
But like, I remember I think it was the last time I had swimming. They would always make us like rinse off in the showers to like, get the chlorine off your body, which it's like, as you said, you still feel like you're caked
There's
in
no
filth.
way to get it off. Yeah, there was always. I'm gonna put my guess around 3 that were just like, I'm gonna get naked for no reason. You're just rinsing, dude. You don't need to.
Yeah.
You can take those off later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that made the whole thing just so much more chaotic. I don't understand how they were like, all right, let's make them all shower together, and then it's time for history.
Do you remember the shampoo? It was like in the pumps. They had like pumps of shampoo.
Oh yeah, we were pumping that shit everywhere. It was like slip and slides.
Yeah.
Slip and slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta pump the full container of shampoo onto the floor, and then slide as fast as you can down the whole shower. No one wanted to get out of the shower.
Yeah.
The shower.
That was, dude, Steven
honestly,
would be poking his head in, screaming at us. Let's go!
Yeah,
we gotta go!
We were staying in there, dude.
Yeah.
It was way too much fun in there.
That. Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
The slip and slides ruled. That probably was the highlight of swimming. The only one.
All right. Let's get off of gym class, but let's go into another, like, not elective. What were those courses called? Like the gym and the wood shop and all that, art. What were those? They had a weird name.
I feel like they're just like specials.
Yeah, something like that. You remember, I don't know if this would be a goat or a woat. Maybe a goat because he was fucking crazy, but a woat because he was so weird. You remember the wood shop teacher?
Mr. McGlade.
Mr. McGlade. I forgot what his
fired.
name was. He got fired. What?
Yeah, pretty sure.
For what?
Boozing on the job, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's not
Which,
surprising.
thinking back, hell yeah. He was the man.
Dude, it was so fucking funny. He pronounced my name wrong all 3 years of middle school.
What, Matt?
No, my last name. So instead of saying Nichols, because it is spelled.
Did he hit you with Nicholas?
Yeah, he'd be Matt Nicholas.
Nice.
And it was so funny because, like, I remember the first time he did it, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. And then he did it again, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to let this go until my last wood shop of 8th grade. And I remember, like, it got to the point where people were like, because they, like, kind of knew. They were like, this guy's an idiot. And then I remember when he was like, what? This dude was crazy. Like,
he was nuts. He was always screaming.
He was like, what? What? And someone was like, that's not how you pronounce his last name. And he was like, why didn't you say anything? But, like, for those, like, we got to describe this dude. Total, like.
Dressed like Woody. For starters.
Oh my god, yeah. Plaid shirt, vest.
Yeah. Dressed
Khakis.
exactly like Woody from Toy Story.
Yeah. That dude had the typical, like, 1980s, like, middle part shitty haircut, but he, there's always like a little piece sticking up in that part.
Yep. Dahmer glasses.
I was gonna say Jeffrey Dahmer lookalike. Yep, mustache. I remember him. Two stories. I remember the one time he was saying something about his bird. He had a pet bird, and he was like, "My pet bird was pecking at my head all night." Like,
he had a bird.
Yeah,
dude, his house must have been chaos.
Just smells like sawdust and bird shit.
He had a bird on his head.
Mm-hmm.
It was picking at his head.
Bro, I remember him saying it. Yeah.
So it was just kind of like a free range bird.
I guess so.
He just lived in the house with him.
I guess so.
That makes sense, honestly.
When I found out he was married, I was surprised. I thought he was like a loner.
I would have guessed probably something similar.
But
I remember he would really, really hammer home how dangerous the planer was.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Oh,
to the point where everyone was like, dude, I'm not going near that thing.
Yeah.
He would freak us out about the planer.
Was the planer the one that like you would just stick the wood in and it would like suck it in and go through?
It would just
Hell
pull the board through. But he would always tell us like if you put it on the slightest angle, it's gonna fire the wood back out at like breakneck speed and probably cut all of you in half.
Yeah, I remember that.
You just keep saying it the whole time too.
Every time.
And then while you're putting the wood in, you'd be like, "That's on an angle. That's on an angle."
Breathing down your neck.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Dude, how about you just do it then? If I'm going to kill myself."
You know what? He never let anyone use the table saw.
Yeah, that was his special toy.
Yeah, like when you would have to make notches in something, like if you were making like for shelves or something.
That was all him.
Yeah, he was like, no one's allowed. And it was funny because I took which I think it was called materials handling in high school.
That was right.
And the teacher in the high school was sick. Like he was super laid back, like total cool guy. And I remember like he was the shit. And he didn't. he was like, guys, it's dangerous, but just be smart. Like, whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
dude looked like John Frusciante a little bit.
hell yeah.
Kinda
He was much more like,
yeah.
Mr. McGlade was treated woodshop like the Navy.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember the other story. You remember? You're gonna know exactly who was the kid always wearing the Flyers stuff. He was wearing his Flyers hoodie, and Mr. McGlade was like asking about like, oh, the Flyers they're on tonight or something like that. And this kid was like super quiet, like mom protected kid, you know. And he, oh no, they were on last night. He's like, oh, who'd they play? And he's like, oh, they played the Bruins. He goes, the Bruins? What are the Bruins? And I'm like,
he didn't know the Bruins. Wait. So he was asking about the Flyers, and did not know who the Bruins were.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Yeah, he was constantly hammered. I'm pretty sure.
He probably had a flask of like gin under his desk.
I think he may have.
He would be the guy that would drink gin. Honestly.
Are you kidding me, bro? He is a straight Jack Daniels man. For sure. Really? A whiskey man. You don't a woodshop teacher? Guaranteed.
Yeah, but like...
maybe even Jim Beam.
Oh, shit. I don't know.
Yeah, he was something. I remember, dude, there was something else. Oh, this was big. In woodshop one time, we had to go get tested for scoliosis. Remember this?
Is this where you go and bend over? And yeah, they would.
Yeah, you go bend over in front of some lady, and she like caresses your back for way too long.
Yes, I remember.
Yep.
That.
And then, I don't know why. Every time I went to one of those tests, I would get like drastically different results every time.
Yeah, dude, I think I did too. Honestly,
I would get my eyes tested like I think every couple of years, and they would either be like, yo, your vision is really bad, or they'd be like, yeah, you're totally fine. But this time I went for scoliosis. I got diagnosed with scoliosis. The only time in my life this has ever happened.
Yeah.
It was like me and a few other people got the we popped for it. We pissed hot for scoliosis. And for the rest of woodshop, we were like, actually, Mr. McGlade, we can't. We were just fucking with him the entire time. I don't think I can use the planer. I have scoliosis.
That's great.
And he
that's so good.
He didn't have enough to. I don't think he could ethically be like, you have to do it. So we were just every time there's anything like, oh, screwdriver. I don't know if I can. Scoliosis.
That's great. Did he buy it?
He was biting his tongue. I think he knew he couldn't really mention anything.
Yeah.
That was right when that shit started to take off. Where it was like, if I say I have this, it's real. So he like could not do anything about it.
That's great.
Which was very fun.
Speaking of McGlade, his next door neighbor, Mr. Austin, that guy was a fucking weirdo.
Austin was bizarre.
He was weird and he was a dick too. His eyes. So all right, let's picture this, guys. Super narrow, super small head. I don't want to say narrow because it was one of those like from the chin up to the cranium. It like kind of tapered out, you know, like an upside down pyramid or something. And then, but this dude like just, it was small and it fucking bug eyes and the biggest, pointiest nose I think I've ever seen. And
oh man,
always red. His skin always looked irritated.
He was always like a little bit sunburned.
He was like if anyone here's watched WWE, like the way The Rock would walk around and like look at people, you know, he's like shooting a gaze at someone. That's kind of like how he'd walk around, and he was really short, but he had like really, wasn't he like really jacked? It was really weird.
I think he was pretty jacked.
And he would just like, you know, give you a crazy look.
I think he was in pretty phenomenal shape.
That's all I remember about him.
I remember his class. Was it Mod Tech? Got to build the car.
Yeah.
That did rule.
Yeah.
The car was awesome. I remember there was one time in that class, a kid had, for whatever reason, a full roll of paper towels in his mouth.
What?
Yeah. He was just, he had a mouth, he was like eating paper towels.
Good Lord. Was he?
Nope.
No.
Yeah,
he wasn't
guy.
special.
Normal guy. He was hungry, I guess. He was crushing paper towels.
Wow.
And then Mr. Austin was like, what do you think about this? Like, he made him answer a question, and he's got, I'm saying, probably 10 paper towels in his mouth. Like, just munching them. Just chewing on them.
What the hell?
Like dip, dude. Just chewing on it. And he didn't answer. So Mr. Austin was like, what do you think about this? He, like, wouldn't let him go.
Yeah.
So he just went, and, like, spit them all into his hand. Everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? He had a mouthful. Oh man, all of these things are so etched in my mind.
That's great. See, I that class was a huge source of anxiety for me. There were certain like special classes that I was in where like gym and that one, like, huge anxiety inducer. So those, I feel like the fight or flight in me just kind of like blocked it out, turned it off, you know.
That's understandable. Gym, swimming, I remember losing sleep over swimming a little bit.
Really?
But then as soon as we got there, I was like, this is kind of fun.
See, for me, it was the mile.
The mile, I was once again a massive dickhead about and tried to do it as slow as possible. I think I went the wrong way one time.
I think you walked the one, and I remember it was one of those where I was like, fuck this, like I'm gonna walk, but then as soon as I'd get out there, I'd be like, oh fuck, I better run.
It's go time. It's fucking game time, dude.
No, not even like, because I hate running. I still to this day hate running, and I was like, I felt like I thought they were gonna be cracking the whip and they were gonna like fail me. Like I'd run like a 9-minute mile and they were like, so, you know, and then there's those kids running a fucking 5.5-minute mile, you know, and it's just like, how do you do that?
Oh, I remember the one kid had like, I think it was the one guy had a 4-minute the one year.
It was just like a
dead
track
sprint the whole time.
Yeah. So, and like they made it look so easy, and I'd get in there and I'd be like, all right, this time's gonna be different, you know, thinking like, you know, think I'm gonna pull in my inner Goku, and I'm just I'm gonna push. Or
today,
Vegeta.
I'm an Olympic athlete. All of a sudden,
I think I'm Vegeta. I'm gonna push my limits.
Yeah,
and then I get halfway around the track, and I'm like winded, and I'm like, oh fuck, you know.
Yeah,
and they'd be like, you gotta run, you gotta go, and it's like I'm out of breath.
I'm going to die.
Yeah, like, do you not see I'm a pudgy middle schooler? Yeah, but
no Usain Bolt coming out that day. Yeah, I remember doing it in as slow motion as possible, and Mr. Stever not enjoying that.
Yeah.
But it was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Just get to go.
I wish
take a walk in the park, basically.
I feel like I cared too much in school to like that was, if you think about it, that was the time to fuck up during life. Because like
middle school.
Well, just like like when you're in school, because it's like, ooh, you know, what are you going to do? Give me a pink slip? Ooh, you know, or what are you going to do? Pull me aside and scold me? Whereas now it's like, I can't really fuck up because I'm either going to lose my job, I'm going to go to jail, I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really, like, that was the time
much more serious.
Kind of fuck off, you know?
Oh, and I did.
You did. All right, school lunches.
All time.
Yeah, goat. So I have those listed as a goat, but they could also be a woat because of the people involved. I'm mainly saying goat because of the food. Like I feel like people hate on school, even though
we had a good cafeteria.
We had a good cafeteria. Like people,
those ladies knew what they were doing back there.
People shit on school lunches so often, and I don't know how it is now because I haven't been in school for almost 10 years. But like going through middle school, dude, like the food was solid. Like there were some things you knew not to get.
Oh yeah.
But like some of the remember Bosco sticks? Like
were they the cheesy breadsticks?
Yeah.
Yeah, they sucked.
Or like you just get like some soggy, like flaccid cheese stick in a bag, or
dude, I would fuck up the really old Hot Pockets though.
Oh yeah,
I would vacuum those things. Me and the one kid we would always sit with, we were always like steady Hot Pockets.
Yeah,
and they were guaranteed old as hell.
Dude, I remember. Yeah, my go-to is usually the personal pizza. The round one. They had the round ones. I would usually
a big move.
Personal pizza, and then usually Doritos, Cool Ranch Doritos.
To this day,
crushing them. Yeah, they're sitting right here. There were a couple game changers on the drink side because like for the longest time it was Gatorade, but then
Fruit 66.
They introduced Fruit 66, which is I don't know what.
Was that a Michelle Obama move?
I think it was a Michelle Obama move.
Okay.
One of the only good things she did.
Dude, we were stricken by the Michelle Obama era of lunchroom fascism. She destroyed it.
But like, so when Gatorade was the move, the level up from bottled Gatorade was when we got the cans of Gatorade. Something about them was just better.
We didn't have canned Gatorade.
Yes, we did. We had orange. It was only an orange canned Gatorade. And I remember we walked in, we were like, what the fuck is this?
We had canned Gatorade?
Yeah, we did. And it was one of those, like, it was a hot ticket item because you go in and it was there. It was like, oh shit, you got to get the canned Gatorade. And then they would sell out and like they wouldn't have them for like 2 weeks. But then
I don't think I ever was hitting those. They were probably always sold out.
Yeah.
I was never quick to get to lunch.
But you were Fruit 66 guy.
Yeah, I would hammer those.
I was on
Fruit 66 or just like the classic yellow Gatorade in the little bottle.
Oh yeah.
Hammering those hards. The popcorn chicken, undeniable classic.
So good.
And I still look for the barbecue sauce from the middle school cafeteria.
Oh yeah, what did they have there?
I don't
was
know.
Was it like the Texas Longhorn one or something like that?
Something like that. But whatever it was, I can't find it, and it was way too good. Oh man, that's where all the real showmanship came out in the cafeteria.
No doubt. The other thing I remember, I'd always get that fucking kettle corn. It was like a red bag. It was popcorn, but it had like this like kind of sweet coating on it. It was so good. That and the personal pizza was my jam.
I was a big pack of fruit snacks guy.
Yeah, you were always hammering the Welch's fruit snacks.
Yeah, because the bag had like 700 in there.
Yeah,
they would give you way too many fruit snacks.
Yeah, and then the ice cream. We can't forget about the ice cream.
Yep, M&M cone. Almost daily.
I feel like I was always the ice cream sandwich guy. The M&M ice cream sandwich.
Also a good move.
Or the Chipwich. Those were fire.
The Chipwich, classic. The Snickers.
Oh, yeah.
Those were always gone though.
Oh yeah.
You were lucky to have a Snickers. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Actually, do you remember when they switched the cheeseburgers?
When they got bad?
No, they got okay. I think this is where our roads split, because I remember they used to give us these thin ass cheeseburgers that were like they baked everything at the school. My mom was a lunch lady, so I had the instant scoop. But like, you know, whether it was a fucking grilled cheese, like you'd get a grilled cheese, the crust would be hard as a brick of cement, but then the center would be like nice and grilled and gooey. Or like the burgers, same thing. The outer edge is hard because they bake it in the oven because it's healthy, but it didn't always translate. But then they switched to these like thick, like probably inch and a half thick cheeseburgers.
They brought out the quarter pounders, dude.
Oh dude, they were so good.
The Angus.
And I remember, I forget, like it was like a divide. Like you either loved them or you hated them. And I loved them. Chicken patty day. Come on,
clearly.
Can't go
that's
wrong.
when the boys are running.
Yeah.
That's when we get the runners. We know who they were. Steamrolling to the front of the line.
Yeah. Naruto running to the cafeteria. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah.
I don't remember the cheeseburger switch. I do remember the lunchroom Olympics, obviously.
The lunchroom Olympics. I don't remember this.
Well, that's what I'm gonna coin it right now.
Milk bombs.
Milk bombs. That was one event, which was immediately shut down every time.
Yeah.
I think that is why we got split up.
How many times did we get split up?
The answer is almost all the time.
Yeah, it was at least 6 times a year.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to sit together anymore.
Yeah. Oh, because we're way too cool and fun. My bad.
I had a couple run-ins with the authority there, but I'll let you touch on.
I think we can kick it off with a classic, which was connecting all the straws together to see how far away you could drink a Gatorade from.
I don't remember that one.
That was a big move. I think we got the full length of the table, which was like, I think it was like 12 straws, but 12 plastic straws, not very structurally sound, so they came apart.
Yeah.
And then there was a like entire bottle of Gatorade spilled across the whole table.
Yeah.
So that, I think we got straws banned that year. I think they got rid of straws. That was a big move. We have one gold medalist who could catch fruit snacks in their mouth from virtually any distance. I'm talking 3-4 tables down.
He was unreal at that.
I'm talking perfect record.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Didn't miss a single fruit snack, and we were arcing them tables away. And he would every time catch one.
AJ Brown of fruit snacks.
Which he was the AJ Brown of fruit snacks, but once again shut down.
I feel like we need to explain this. There were these lunchroom aides that would patrol around. You know, they were basically, so like while we had the assistant principal half the time sitting up, there was a stage in our cafeteria, sitting up there with his big fat ass at the desk eating his lunch and watching all of us, you know, slop dripping from his mouth. There were these patrols that would go around the cafeteria just to maintain order. So, and the one, there were a few. There were a couple women, 2 or 3 women, and then there was this one guy named Mr. Myers, which we'll talk about when Jack returns. But there was this one woman named Mrs. Bon Jovi. She was really, really, really weird. That wasn't actually her name, but that's what we called her, and she was okay with us calling her that because she had an unhealthy obsession with Bon Jovi. She had a t-shirt with him on it. She'd always wear it to school. Halisack, the assistant principal,
I gotta get one with him.
sitting with his fat fucking ass up on the stage, just being a total glutton.
He did, looking back, kind of rock.
No, I fucking hated that guy, dude. He was one of my worst enemies.
No way.
Dude, I swear to God, I ended up in his office multiple times for like doing what I thought was right, and like him just totally fucking being like Mr. Authority and stepping all over me.
What?
Oh my God, yeah. But anyways, all right. So
I have a redeeming story of Mr. Halisack.
Really?
Yep. Do you remember when we found the Magnum condom?
Oh, dude, we got split up for that. No,
Yes,
we
we
didn't
did.
find it. That girl, you know who I'm talking about, threw it on the lunch table because she was
Insane. That was like 7th grade, dude.
I know, and it's really sad, honestly, because like, yeah, being so young and like she was so open and just about like,
Yeah, that wasn't good.
doing that kind of stuff.
That wasn't good.
And it's like, okay.
Oh man, I thought we just discovered one.
No, I remember it was hers, and she threw it on the table, and I remember Halisack walking by, and they made the whole big fucking deal about it. We were always at
That was pretty fun though.
we were at that table that was always up by the door in the corner.
Yeah.
And I remember they walked by, and I just remember him saying, "None of you guys are wearing a
I
Magnum."
know, yeah, dude, that was funny. He
And-
walked by and he was like, "I know none of you guys are fitting in this thing."
Yeah. But and
He
then,
he was pretty chill about it, all things considered. But the lunch ladies were fuming.
but then we got to lunch the next day, and we weren't allowed to sit together.
Which,
It sucked.
dude, it wasn't our fault.
It sucked for me because I didn't have really many friends outside of you.
Yeah, I don't even remember where they put us.
It was just
They
like
put us somewhere fucking dumb though.
it was so weird. I remember they put me at a table. Well, and I think it was one of those we all went and we tried to sit down like we normally did, and they all came over and they were like,
They were like, "Time to get up,
"Go away."
get out of here, dude."
And I ended up sitting. I remember like that. Just see, and this is what I'm saying about like now. I feel like I try to be more like proactive, I guess, about doing what I think is right. Whereas back then, it would just like that fight or flight would ignite, and I'd be like shaking, and I'd be like Goku getting ready to go Super Saiyan, and I just didn't know, but I didn't know what to do because I was scared. I was like scared of authority, but I fucking hated it. So I remember I ended up sitting with like Michael Masucci.
It's not bad though.
I was like with him and like Harley Lau, and I guess
It's not a bit. They were another. That's another group of
should I
troublemakers,
cut
dude.
the names?
Nah, it's fine. Whatever.
Okay.
We got nothing bad to say about.
But no, I ended up sitting with them because they were like, you can sit wherever you want, but you can't sit together.
That's a failed operation. They just put you at another baghead table.
Yeah. I know, because But yeah, so there's the Magnum, and then I remember the Milk Bomb one. I think the Milk Bomb one was the one that I stood up for, and I got fucking
Well, they tried to take
smoked.
away the milk.
What?
Yeah, they were gonna say no more milk for us.
What? No, Michelle Obama wouldn't like that.
No. Well, it was just our table. They weren't gonna like discontinue milk in the cafeteria.
Oh.
But whenever we were like rigging them up, they'd be like, "No, you can't have that."
You're
They wouldn't give us.
blacklisted.
Yeah, we would do it every day. And they'd be like, "Guys, stop doing the milk bomb."
God.
It was too funny.
How about my rivalry with Mr. Myers?
I think everyone wanted to take him down,
Dude, I used
and
to
then he
have
took himself down.
I used to have mystical visions and cosmic vibrations.
Yeah.
Shout out Allen Ginsberg.
About
I used to just fucking
about beating up Mr. Myers.
yeah, 7th grade me beating the shit out of this guy. Like I used to picture myself like fucking John Cena picking him up on my shoulders, like slamming him on the lunch table.
You
like,
definitely had the chops for that.
dude, I hated that guy.
Mr. Myers
Choking him out.
Yeah, he was pretty much the worst. He
Big.
dressed like a member of Limp Bizkit.
Fuck.
With his like 2 sizes too big, like monstrous DCs, khakis that are straight from the big and tall store, but he was like 5'10". And oh yeah, dude, he was
Holy shit.
he
Bald. Chin
Bald.
but no, he didn't have a real beard. He just had like a chin strap.
the laser cut
Yeah.
chin strap. Yeah, he would always pick me up to bring me to detention because they were afraid I wasn't going to go to detention. So he would come to my last period class to come get me and bring me to
No
detention.
way. I don't remember that.
Yeah, they
Oh,
thought I was going to
shit.
skip. which I never did. I don't know why they had that impression. But
and it's funny because it's not even like you were like a troublesome kid in school. Like you were quiet. You were just like you didn't care.
I was smirking though. I was usually up to something, but I honestly was not disruptive.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah, good old Mr. Myers. And then eventually he became kind of chill because he was always walking me to detention.
See, that's probably why because you kind of formed that like mutual respect.
I mean, he did suck. But at the time, it was kind of like, all right, whatever. We'll just hang out.
I have a couple stories about him. I think the one was involving the milk bombs. It was one of those we were at. So this is, I think our table had gotten split up, but slowly over time we reconvened at another table, like across the cafeteria.
Yeah, eventually, because we would get split up at the other tables.
Yeah,
and we would just merge again.
Because
we get kicked out of all the other tables.
It was like So the way lunch tables were at our school, for those still listening, it was like a long table but broken into two, and it had like the benches attached to it that you would sit on. So we were at the bottom half, like the left end of the table, and all the kids that were being obnoxious were at the top end of the table. And I remember they were like they had some good ones that day, like loud.
The milk bombs?
Oh my god.
Yeah, because there was always duds too. Sometimes they wouldn't go off.
Yeah, like you'd have like the ones that. And honestly, as an adult, now that I'm like really thinking about it, I could see where that would be freaky for like a person of authority.
Yeah,
like,
it sounded like a gun.
Sounds like a gunshot.
It sounded like a real gun going off.
But like the ones that were good were not the ones that sounded like a pop, like a gun. The ones that were like a fucking bomb going.
Stompers.
Like, yeah, just like
you can't clap them if you stomp it. It's like, oh, that was a bomb.
Yeah, and then and everyone loved it. I remember like some of the big ones. Everyone would start clapping.
Oh yeah,
it was like a round.
It was a hit.
But like I remember we weren't at the end where they were doing that, and I remember they all came over. It was like the end of lunch. People were like, all right, we're gonna get a couple really good ones, and they did it. And they all came over and they're like, you're all staying right here. You're all staying right here.
Cool. Didn't want to go to class anyway.
And I started getting up to leave, and they were like, sit down. And I was like, no. This is like
one of the. I remember this.
This is one of the only times.
I remember this, dude. You went full William Wallace.
One of the only times I ever stood up for myself because, like I said, I was like scared, but in my head I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, you didn't do anything.
So like I remember I was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. And they were like, well, you guys aren't allowed to sit together. And I said, you're not going to tell me where I can and can't sit. And they were like. And like this is total like 7th grade. Like it's funny saying this out loud now because I'm like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
But like and that's again like I want to get into another thing where it's like, why were these people so uptight about everything? But like I was like, you're not gonna tell me where I can and can't sit. I'm gonna sit wherever the fuck I want. I didn't curse them out, but like I was like, I'm gonna sit where I want to, and you're not gonna do anything about it.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, like they were so caught. Like taken back because like I never said anything. I was just that weird kid that sat with you guys.
I wonder if they actually had the authority to do that. If they were just like to like split us up, or if they were just so annoyed that they were like, "Dude, please go sit over there."
Yeah,
because once you were like, "I'm just gonna sit here," they were like, "Ah, shit."
But I remember I was like, "No," I was like, "I'm not sitting where you're gonna like. I'm gonna sit where I want. I don't care what you guys have to say. I'm done. Like screw this." So then I go to class, we go through the rest of the day, and I think it was like the next day. So here's the thing too, my mom was a lunch lady, like I said, and so she knew all the aides, she knew all the cashiers, she knew everyone. And so the next day I get called down to the office. And here's fucking dickhead Halisack
again. Strikes again.
Me and this dude. Me and this dude, this is one of our battles. I go in, he goes, oh, sit down. And he's like, you know why you're down here, right? I was like, no, really. I don't. Like, and he was like, oh, well, you cursed out all the lunch aides yesterday. They heard you saying swear words and this, that, and the third. And I was like, no, I didn't. I just told them I'm not gonna, like, this is ridiculous. You're gonna tell me where I can and can't. I said, and I remember telling him, I was like, we had nothing to do with what those kids were doing. We were in our own complete little world. And he goes, oh, well, guilt by association. You were sitting at the same table. And I was like, really, dude? Like, they're stepping on milk cartons. Like, it's not like we're bullying people.
Is funny.
Yeah. But I remember, and I started again, like that panic mode set in. I start shaking. I start like when I would get really anxious, I would start to like not cry, but like, my eyes would well because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I kind of froze up, and I remember me being 7th grade Matthew, I was like, well, God saw, and he goes, don't hit me with your God stuff, buddy. Look, I'm just as Christian as you are. And like, yeah, dude, I swear to God, it was the
what?
So you know what he said? He said, well, so what do you think the appropriate punishment is for this? I was like, just let me off with a warning.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I think lunch detention. He tried to give me 3 lunch detention, and he called me like a liar at one point. He's like, I think you're lying.
Oh,
I think
man.
And so then I went home.
That's probably why you hate him. That's fair.
You know, it's so funny. I went home that night, and I told my mom about what happened, and she was like, what the fuck? She was like, what the fuck? So then,
Mr. has no sack.
That night, we're sitting at dinner, and you know my dad. Dude is totally just like in his own world 90% of the time, because he goes to work so early, and then he comes home like decently late, and the dude's just fucking burned out. Like he's
stoic.
And then I remember we're sitting at the dinner table, and my mom's like, Matt, tell your dad what happened today. And so I started telling him the story, and I didn't even get through like half the story. As soon as I said,
did he freak out?
He told me that he called me a liar. He was like, no one is gonna, like, he totally like the tone shifted. Frank like turned into
that shoveled a lot of coal in the fire.
Oh my god, he was like, no one calls my son a liar.
What?
He was like, I know you're not a liar, you don't disrespect authority, I know you. So then he's like, I'm calling that asshole tomorrow. He fucking flipped out. He was
Did he
pissed.
call him?
Oh yeah. So and he was like, go to your lunch detention like you're supposed to. I'm gonna call him tomorrow morning, and then we're gonna get this figured out. And it was funny too, because I remember going to lunch detention, Mrs. Bernardo, the principal, I think she knew it was bullshit, because I walked in with my tray and I just kind of sit down. She comes in and she hands me a newspaper. She's like, oh, here, read this if you like. She was being super chill. I think she knew it was bullshit.
She probably already got yelled at.
But no, and so then like I remember after my dad, so that was the day my dad called him. The next day my parents were like, don't go to lunch detention, just go sit with your friends. Fuck that guy. And I was like, okay, cool. So I remember I was sitting with you guys, and the next thing I know, you were across from me, because I remember you were like, we were talking, and then all of a sudden your eyes go like, they direct like behind my head.
Oh, here he comes, dude.
and
he's gonna come get you.
And I feel his fucking hands on my shoulders.
Dude, I remember that.
Yeah.
He hit you with like the boxing corner, like.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The hands on the shoulders, and he leans in real close, and he goes, I told your old man I was gonna give you an apology, so I'm sorry. And I remember not knowing what I didn't know how to react.
Yeah,
so
like,
I turned around and I was like, thank you. I remember,
damn,
dude. And that wasn't even the only other time. There was the other time, and I'll make this one brief, was with Mr. Myers. I got double teamed. This is when we're at the old lunch table, the one by the door in the corner. And that one was the only table in the cafeteria that had chairs. I think there were just...
Oh, right. The rest were benches.
So I remember like the lunch it filled up for some reason that day. So I was like, oh, whatever. I just took a chair from another table and pulled it up to the end of the table. So because like I said, you were like my only friend, really.
Yeah, we were boys.
So like, yeah. And so like I pulled this chair up and I sit down, and like we get like 10 minutes into lunch, and here comes fucking Fred Durst walking over to me.
Yeah.
He goes, you can't sit there. And I looked at him and I was like, why? And he's like, you just can't. Get up. Go.
Yeah, they really hammered those.
Like stupid shit. Like, why did that stuff matter?
They probably got in trouble if they did. They have like 4 things they have to do. It's like, make sure there's not a fight. Make sure no one's fucking around too hard. Make sure there's like a certain amount of people per table, and like monitor the line. So like that being your entire job description, I'm sure if you missed one of those things, you would just get your ass handed to you.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they were like, dude, please just... But obviously that's a stupid rule.
Yeah, and he was like, I remember just being like, and he was like really like, come on, go, let's go, come on.
Yeah, they weren't very nice about it.
And I said, and I just was like, why? I said, why? Tell me why.
Yeah.
And he gives me the fucking most childish fucking look, and I just remember him going, because I told you to.
And you know he was us times 1,000 in middle school.
So I remember I got up in typical middle school response. I was like, man, you're gay. And I walked away. And
he goes, hit him with gay?
Yeah, I called him gay.
Hell yeah.
And he was like, you're not going to put your chair back? I said, no. And I walked away.
You hit him with gay and then left the chair there?
Yep.
Oh, you're a legend.
And I remember, I feel like it was kind of one of those moments where the table was like, oh shit. Because like I said, I was quiet. I didn't really say anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I remember I ended up in the office that time, and it was both of them, and it was just, they were like strong arming me, because there's 2 of them and there's 1 of me, and I'm a kid and they're not. So it was like, it was fucking stupid. But yeah, I hated those guys, dude.
My nemesis was always Ruben, dude.
Oh yeah,
Ruben was my arch nemesis.
How could we not?
Fucking the Spanish teacher, Mr. Rivero.
Which is funny. That's, well, not his, we met in his wife's class, but she was out on maternity leave.
Yeah, we had that weird ass sub with the faces.
The one who would, write on the chalkboard will
She would hold the chalk.
Igrega.
Dude.
Yeah.
We had Igrega, and that's why we were friends, because we were like, this lady is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Rivero.
I took French.
This is a big old wote for this for this episode.
Cupcakes.
Dude.
I am cupcakes. Do you remember the meme?
He did say that.
Because someone made the meme. They like photoshopped his face onto something, and it said like, I am cupcakes.
I think he did say that in class for some reason.
That dude was a fucking piece of shit.
He was always like, first of all, no disrespect, schlubby ass dude, always with like, you know when people like tuck their shirt in but their pants aren't pulled up enough?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's always rocking that look.
Yeah.
He's always rocking that look.
It's like he's running the Greg Olson look.
Yes. He's right there with Greg. Constantly taking my phone. Constantly.
Hell yeah.
Like basically, dude, every day taking my phone. Not even on my phone.
He had fucking radar for that. I remember you'd walk. I remember the one time you said you walked in and it was just in your pocket.
He could see it through my pocket, and he was like, "Give me that."
Yeah.
He's like, "You are the fucking worst, dude." He was. Oh my god. I don't know what it was, but he had it out for me.
Yeah.
This was the real quintessential "I fucking hate you" moment. You remember my locker? It was just full of papers.
Oh yeah,
So
I do
never
remember
used
that.
binders.
Yeah.
And then my backpack would get full, so I would just dump it into my locker.
Dude, I remember that. Yeah, and like throughout the school year, it would gradually fill up.
It would fill the whole thing up. Yeah. So one time he saw that and didn't like it. Which
he didn't like anything.
Yeah, it's my locker, dude. You never have to be in there. Took all of it out. He emptied my locker, which is like, could have been a landfill, dude.
Yeah.
It was all the papers, and then also for Mrs. Banner's class, I would always forget Phoenix Rising.
Okay.
So I had most of the copies of Phoenix Rising.
Oh shit, I remember that.
In my locker. I think I had like 30 of them.
Oh yeah.
Because I would forget them, and then I'd grab a new one every day and just throw it in my locker and forget it again. So I had all of them, basically. So it was like 30 copies of Phoenix Rising, and then all the homework for basically the entire year.
That's awesome.
And he dumped my entire locker out in the hallway, dude, between classes. So it wasn't even like...
What a dick.
It wasn't even like, all right, we have time to like organize this. It was like, all right, you have 10 minutes to get all your shit back in your locker.
Do you remember he wasn't even like a legal citizen yet?
Is that true?
Yeah.
That can't be right.
No, dude, he okay, so...
he was teaching there for so long.
Not legal, but he wasn't a citizen of the
He didn't have
US.
like a card yet?
I remember in 8th grade, they made this whole big deal about him becoming a citizen. Like, we all had to have an assembly in the morning to say the Pledge of Allegiance with him to basically kiss his ass because he passed his citizenship test. And I remember they were like, we're red, white, and blue. Like, they made it this whole thing. And I remember you and I wore communist colors. We wore, like, black, orange, and red or something.
Oh, I did do that.
I remember you had that
that
shirt. It was like a Neff shirt or a Vans shirt with like the...
It was the Obey one.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the big wave on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that vividly.
Shout out to 2011 style.
You know Neff is still a thing.
Still cooking, dude.
It's crazy. I get ads for them all the time on Instagram. They have this whole like Peanuts collection, which is kind of cool. Like
that is cool.
I
They were always cool, dude. In middle school, I was heavy on that, dude. Mm-hmm. They had the cool shit.
Hell yeah.
Another big moment with Ruben. One time, I gave remember the reading logs?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I gave my reading log to Tyler Abel so he could copy it. And he was copying it down in Mr. Rivero's class.
Yeah.
And Mr. Rivero, dickhead, caught him, took it, and then he like saw my name on it and was like, no.
Yeah.
And then he found where I was, which was in Mr. Kreutzer's class.
That dude was the chillest.
He was the man.
Oh, I love
But
that
the
guy.
reading log was for Mr. Kreutzer's class. So, like, we only had to turn it in on certain days, so that was one of the off days. So I was like, yeah, you can take it, dude. Go ahead and copy it. And then mid-class, Mr. Kreutzer's up there talking about, like, fucking The Outsiders or something.
Yeah.
Like, just...
GOAT.
In his... Yeah, obviously,
GOAT.
that was obviously one of the greatest classes.
Hell yeah.
He was the man. So he's like mid lecture talking about it. Like everyone's paying attention because everyone loved him. Mr. Rivero comes blasting through the door with like holding the reading log above his head, shaking it around. So excited to bust me again. I was like, dude, you're such a loser.
Yeah.
And he was like, look what I fucking found. And Mr. Kreutzer was like, all right, I'll take it. Like, stop.
Yeah.
So then, he took it from me, and I was like, okay, my bad for helping Tyler out. And then I got 0 for it. Yeah. He was like, he was, once again, so chill. He was like, all right, not a big deal. Like, you obviously did the work, but it's still cheating, so you're getting a 0 too. And I was like, fuck. Yeah. Mr. Rivero, dude.
Dude, Kreutzer was the best. He was one of the GOATs because I remember in 8th grade, because he was an 8th grade English teacher, 8th grade, our very last, like, I don't even want to call it a unit, but that was the year we read Outsiders, Fahrenheit 451, like we read all those books. And surprisingly, like a solid year for reading. I hated Fahrenheit, but I totally respect it now.
Fahrenheit was sick.
But
did we read Rumblefish too?
Rumblefish was awesome.
Yeah, that was so a good one.
But I remember our last assignment was just to like write a story. We had like 2 weeks of school left. Kreutzer was just like, write about whatever you want. I don't care. We're going to spend the next 2 weeks writing. Have fun. And I was like, hell yeah, because I've always loved writing, like just for shits and giggles. Yeah. And my story was, it was like a total ripoff of the game Time Splitters. It was about like this soldier traveling through time. But at the end, there was like a PS at the end where the big boss fight was him fighting Ray Bradbury.
I remember.
With his big water bag chin.
Yeah, because he would always show us videos of Ray Bradbury and how he was like afraid of cars.
His double chin was like huge.
Yeah, he was monstrous.
Sack of
He was
liquid.
like a turkey gobbler.
But
he was afraid of cars, right?
And Kreutzer loved that. I remember his comments in the story were like, this is incredible.
Yeah, you showed it to me. He was like hype on it.
Yeah, and I guarantee he was probably reading it like, okay, like this kid likes Call of Duty or something. But then he gets to that and he's like, whoa. Like total like
guest appearance.
Yeah.
Ray Bradbury's here.
That shit was great. But
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, Kreutzer was sick. Speaking of 8th grade, I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't bring up Bobby Kakmar.
Asshole.
And his fucking, I never noticed this. So he had a gap tooth, total dork. Like if anyone's ever seen the cover of Mad Magazine, he kind of looked like that guy.
Yeah.
Gap tooth.
Wow, actually, yeah.
Fucking dork, tiny head. But Jack always pointed out that, I remember the one time you were like, dude, because I had honors science that year. I had honors science and honors history, which Reef, the history teacher, Riefenstahl, he was awesome. Like, I love that dude. But science, fuck, I hate science. Or I hated science then because they made it so lame and they made it so hard, you know?
Oh, well, I mean, we have to talk about the field trip.
To the shit plant.
Yeah.
But
what was that?
But
go ahead, continue.
But no, yeah, all I was going to say is that I didn't notice this till you pointed it out because there was this table at the front of the room. It was a typical science room with like the black slate tables, right? But then there was this table at the front of the room and he would sit on it. Well, and like always at the beginning of the day to like bullshit for 15 minutes with us. And Jack, you were like, dude, his feet are like fucking huge. He's got like clown feet. And I was like,
monsters.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And then I looked and I was like, good Lord, look at those things.
He was probably 5'10", wearing a size 15.
Yeah, it was insane.
It was wild. And he would swing them. He would like sit on the table and just swing his legs. And I'd be like, dude, those things they were like as long as his calves.
Yeah, it was insane. And I'm not convinced that like he wasn't using like the swinging of his legs and the wind to like teach that fucking lame ass unit about the winds going around the earth. You remember that?
No.
There was this whole unit about like how the winds, like the patterns of the wind and the air on the earth. It was so weird. And over half of my class failed it. We were honors students and we all failed it.
I don't even know if they touched on that for us.
Dude, it was like...
We're too busy learning about poop water.
He was so pissed that we all had to... So at Saucon, if you failed a test, you had to go for what they called remediation. It was from where school would let out... School would let out at 2:30. You would have to stay from 2:30 to 3 for remediation if you failed a test. And he was so furious that over half of the honors class had to stay to like make up this test and just to get like a passing grade.
Dude. That was your fault.
It made no sense. And like, I don't know. But anyways, the shit plant, that was the big unit of the year.
That was insane. We had to go to the wastewater treatment plant as a field trip.
Yep.
And it was as bad as you would think it was. And we went in 2 shifts. There was a before lunch group and an after lunch group.
Hell yeah.
Luckily, I was before lunch.
I think I was before lunch too, yeah.
Because, dude, no way I'm eating lunch. No way I'm eating lunch and then going there.
Yeah.
It was rough. They had the big cauldron. Remember that? That was like spinning the shit for the entire city. We just had to stand and stare into it while this guy explained what was going on. It was horrible.
I remember the aeration tanks when they were like, if you fall in there, you will die. They said because like something about like
dude.
with it like getting churned and like the air, like it was like you would be so much more dense than what was in there. Like if you fell in, you would sink to the bottom and die.
Yeah,
and I was like, why are you telling me this?
No railing.
Yeah.
By the way, we're just standing at the edge of it, like, yo, if you fell in, you'd totally be dead.
Well, and I remember pulling up too. I remember when the bus was pulling up, and you look out the window, and like there was like a conveyor belt just shooting shit into the back of this truck.
Your eyes are already watering.
Yeah, I was like,
so already even pulling up to the place, you're like, Jesus Christ. This is horrible.
There's like and I remember the one port. There's like a corkscrew. Where it was like, this is how we remove all foreign, and there were like foreign
that's
debris.
Where all the condoms and tampons were blowing through.
I remember specifically seeing like a coffee filter and like maybe a condom, or like it was like insane. I was like, holy shit, like literally holy shit.
Fucking so dumb.
And I remember that actually no, I think I was the afternoon group, because I vividly remember going home afterwards, because you take this whole walk, you walk like 5 miles in this walking tour. And they took us into the laboratory where they like analyzed the shit. They had like bottles of it.
Yeah, they were inspecting it.
And I remember getting home, and it was a warm day. It was like going on summertime.
Oh yeah, it was like July.
My feet were moist because they were sweating, and it had absorbed the shit odor.
Dude.
And my feet smelled like sweaty shit for like the next 2 weeks.
In my nose.
Yeah.
For so long.
And
everything smelled like the shit plant.
And the science teachers were totally like, no laughing, no making any jokes. This is serious. And it's like,
we did.
Yeah.
Obviously we did.
But then
it took us to the poop factory, dude. We're making jokes.
But then to tie this all together, how about let's wrap on the project that we had to do.
Oh, remember what I did?
So from what I remember, I don't know if you guys, I remember him making a big deal about how much harder our version of this project was than yours. Because he was like, oh, you need to design your own fucking wastewater and water purification plant. You had to use like Excel to make like a whole like flow chart of how they were both going to work together. Like my dad was like a pro at Microsoft Excel. And so like I remember sitting up with him like way later than I should have been, stressing over some dumbass project, like making these flow charts, and then you had to write like a so many word essay for each plant that you designed, and it was like, why does this fucking matter? But
it was a weird choice. I think it was all designed based on the fact that they like got clearance to bring us to the plant.
Yeah, and I mean, I was so stressed about mine, and I think I ended up getting like an A, just like a solid A. I was like, oh wow, like I was like, damn, I actually did decent on this. Like, he wanted it for my class at least. It needed to be turned in like a folder, and like,
oh yeah, he made it way over the top.
But you had a nice little issue with
a little oopsie, a slip up. So for us, I think it seems like you guys did both of them at the same time, like the wastewater and the fresh water. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
So we did like half the year one and then half the year the other. I did the wrong one for an entire 6 months because I was not paying attention to that class at all.
God.
For seriously 6 months, I did the wrong project, sitting next to everyone else doing the right project. And I didn't figure that out until, basically I did nothing for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I did the whole project in like 2 days.
That was always your trump card.
That is still my trump card.
Yeah.
So I did the whole thing and like busted ass on it for a couple days, and I was like, okay, here it is. And I didn't realize this. I wasn't the first one to present. So everyone starts presenting the other one. And I was like, dude, no. No way. I just did the wrong one. So I was like, it was my turn to present. So I was like, all right, Mr. Cackmore, I did the other one by accident.
Oh, God.
And he was livid. He was so pissed. And then I was like, all right, I can fix this. I can totally fix this. I'm going to be fine. So I was like, well, if I bring you the other one tomorrow, because we're going to be still presenting tomorrow, would that be okay? And he was like, I guess so, but I'm going to deduct like 5 points or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. So I went home, and turns out they're the same thing.
Yeah.
They work exactly the same way.
Yep.
So I just changed all the labels, and it was fine.
Yeah.
I think I got like a B- on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was shaking. I was so scared because everyone went up and they were like, so here's my diagram of the freshwater treatment plant.
No.
And I was like, I thought we were doing wastewater. It was horrible.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, it worked out. He was just shaking his head, dude. He was so upset.
I remember, I guess we'll wrap on this. So
Sure.
one of the other goats of middle school, I would say unarguably, would be holiday breaks. Because
Clearly.
we're like right now we're in the Christmas season, and it's like, damn man, what I wouldn't give for like a fucking 2-week break from work.
Dude,
to
I
just
know.
like where it's like you have that whole build up, and like I was just telling Kayla the other day, I was like, man, they used to fucking take us to the auditorium and we would listen to the band's Christmas concert, and it was like such a vibe,
It
like
ruled.
it was such a vibe. And then like you'd always watch the Polar Express like every year for 12 years straight.
Yeah, the teachers just shut the whole place down for that week. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, and then it was like, and then
The
like
Christmas parties in the classroom.
yeah, and everyone, dude, those reels where it's like you grew up in the 2000s, and
Oh, yeah.
total. You said it was psychological warfare. Totally
Yeah,
true.
dude, it's like it's fucking with me how good they have it.
I
They
know.
like nail it.
Yeah, and but yeah, and like like you said, they basically shut it down for the whole week, and then that last day was a half day, and everyone would be fucking hype, and
Way too hype.
and then everyone's like, you go home, and
Yeah,
of course
you have 2 weeks off.
you got like some snow flurry or some shit. It's like the perfect storm.
Back when it still snowed.
Yeah, rip. But yeah, no.
Oh.
But like holiday breaks, and then like I remember the one time, I think it was right before Christmas break of 8th grade. Again, we weren't doing anything important. They took us all into the cafeteria to do "Are You Smarter Than an 8th Grader?" And it was one of those bullshit. Oh yeah, they had all of the 8th grade teachers up on the stage in the cafeteria, and there were 5 chairs for the students, and they would pull names out of a hat. They had all the 8th grade students' names in a hat, and I remember they pulled all of our names out. And
Did you get called?
oh my God, yeah, it was total.
Of course you fucking got called.
Of course, social anxiety to the max. I'm sitting there
my
like,
God.
don't call me, and then they're like, Matt Nichols. I'm like, fuck,
You didn't luck out one time in the
and
entirety of middle school.
So I end up, and you have to go sit. There were like 4 or 5 chairs lined up, and you would sit, and then it was like as students went up, you would like move. You'd get closer. So I get up, and you basically got to pick which teacher you wanted to go head to head with and what subject. And so me hating Mr. Cackmar, because to this point, we were only halfway into the school year, and this dude picked on me because being in honors classes, you're in with all the people that way too smart for their own good. Like there was this one girl who would cry if she got less than 100 on it. I remember having she had a full-on mental breakdown because she got like a 97. Or like, like all the guys wore like the same like Old Navy polo and jeans and sneakers, like looking like their mom still dressed them, and then there was me. That was when I had like my coming of age where I liked music and punk, and I was wearing Blink-182 shirts and Vans slip-on, so I didn't look like your typical honors student back then. And so he hated that. But then like I was smart, like I did well aside from the wind test, but like yeah, I don't know this. So I had a bone to pick with this guy like from day one. And it was like,
did you smite him?
Oh, dude, I mopped the floor with this dude.
What?
It was, we go up and I'm like, Cackmar. They're like, all right. And Kreutzer was moderating, and he was like, okay.
Damn, I would have picked Kreutzer.
And he was, he comes up and he's like, what subject? I said, English.
Nice.
And Cackmar's wife was an English teacher, always pregnant, by the way. Why is the stereotype
pregnant.
always a pregnant English teacher?
I had an English teacher in high school that was pregnant 3 times while I was in high school.
Kayla, same thing. There was some English teacher in her at Palisades. But yeah, so I'm like, all right, English motherfucker, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the question was. I think it was like, the answer was like adverb. Or it was like something stupid.
Yeah.
but like I fucking slammed my hand on that buzzer faster than he could even blink. And I was just like, adverb. And Corrector's like, is that your final answer? And I was like, yes. And he goes, that is correct. And I just remember the whole lunchroom, the whole 8th grade erupting. It was
everyone hated him.
Dude, it was my WrestleMania moment. It was like I just remember like
the glory, dude.
I remember turning to everyone like, yeah, fuck yeah, and everyone's like cheering, and I'm like, this is fucking sick. And it was like the biggest rush of adrenaline I'd had in my entire lifetime.
Because you beat Bobby Cagmore, dude.
And he was just kind of like,
lost.
He was just kind of like, all right,
okay,
you got me. And then I remember going back to the classroom after that, my big dick swinging everywhere. I'm just like, hell
grandfather
yeah,
clocking it out.
Yeah, and I was,
you fucking dumbass, you don't know what an adverb is.
Yeah, we had like 10 minutes left in the classroom, and then we were out for that was the best, dude.
Damn,
so good.
Now I have Christmas Day off.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Fuck.
Well, this has been the first installment of Matt and Jack's Secret Podcast. We gotta have a part 2 at some point. We have so many other things we can talk about.
There's a lot.
There's a lot
there in the middle school saga, dude.
But yeah. But anyways, thanks for everyone who's listening. Thanks if you made it this far. Hope you had a laugh. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Check us out on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. Give us a follow, rate our podcast, buy some merch, and I will see you all on the next one.
Bye-bye.